Today I will be discussing the effects of oceanic pollution. The purpose of this speech is to help educate on the causes, effects, and solutions to this specific pollution. Oceanic pollution is a serious matter that is often overlooked. It not only affects marine life and the environment as several people think it does, but it affects humans as well. Today I'll be discussing the effects oceanic pollution takes on human life, marine life, and ways to help stop this pollution. Approximately 80% of the Earth's oceans are polluted. This is over half. And approximately 8.3 million tons of plastic alone are discarded into the oceans each year. Other pollutants in the ocean include herbicides and pesticides, fertilizers, detergents, oils, and sewage. And 80% of these come from land sources. Oceanic pollution does not just affect marine life and the environment. It affects humans and human health. The ocean supplies 70% of the Earth's oxygen and 97% of the Earth's water supply. That means only 3% comes from other sources. The ocean is a big deal. The first way, specifically, in which oceanic pollution affects humans is by killing and contaminating the fish that feed about 3 billion people. These fish are contaminated through toxic metals, plastics, sewage, chemicals, and a few others. While everyone is at risk, those most at risk live in coastal fishing communities. Another way in which humans are affected is through chemical contamination. There's an overabundance of nitrogen and phosphorus in our oceans. These two chemicals create toxic algal blooms which harm marine life and humans. And lastly, oil spills threaten the microorganisms within the ocean, which harm humans and marine life. And specifically, there was an oil spill off the coast of California, which created a 13 square mile slick, which killed several birds, fish, and other marine life. This is just how it affects humans. Now imagine how it affects the marine life living in the oceans. Today I'll be discussing 2 ways in which marine life is affected. However, there are several more. The first way I'll be discussing is through entanglement. Entanglement can occur through fishing line, fishing nets, plastic bags, and even small beach toys. This happens when a marine life gets caught up in this and they cannot move or can't eat properly. It's bad. Animals that are affected include sea turtles, whales, and crabs. However, there are several more. A specific example would be a crab getting wound up in fishing line and could not move to either get back to the ocean or to get its food, whatever it may be. Another way in which marine life is affected is through ingestion. According to the source, NOAA, when marine life digests or ingests debris, it could block their stomach, meaning that food cannot process through, or it could puncture their insides. For example, if it were a glass bottle, it could hurt their organs, or it could give them a false sense of fullness. They could feel full when really they're still starving because their body cannot digest the plastic or whatever debris. A specific example would be a sea turtle consuming a balloon or plastic bag and then never eating because it feels full, but its body cannot digest it. Therefore, it would die of starvation. However, there are several ways in which we can help. The first is through awareness. This is one of the best ways. You can spread awareness almost anywhere. Awareness could be through word of mouth, through social media, through banners. You can put them in your school, small business, workplace, whatever it may be. You're helping. But it's most important that we teach the truth. We have to let people know that oceanic pollution affects us too, not just marine life. It is very important. Another way in which we can help is through supporting cleanup crews, whether that be physically or financially, or both. It all helps. Cleanup crews are one of the biggest ways to stop oceanic pollution. Think of how many people go to the coast each year. Then think of all the things they bring, whether plastic bags, umbrellas, beach chairs, beach toys, cigarette butts. All those that are left behind are pollutants. And so without our cleanup crews, we would have a far worse problem than we already do. And once again, whether that be physically, financially, you can help. It all helps. And lastly, recycling. Recycle, recycle, recycle. This goes far beyond oceanic pollution. A good number of all environmental hazards, recycling plays a factor in. If people would use recycled materials or recycle themselves more, we would not be in this situation nearly as much. Another reason why oceanic pollution is rapidly increasing is because we have nowhere to put our waste. Therefore, we're dumping it into the oceans or we're burying it underneath the ground, and both are toxic to the environment. So lastly, I want to reiterate that oceanic pollution is a serious matter. It not only affects the present, but it affects the future and future generations. It does not only affect marine life and the environment, it affects humans as well. Oceanic pollution is rapidly increasing, and if we don't do something to stop or at least lessen the cause, we're all in great danger. So lastly, I have one last thought I want to leave with you. Now that you know this information and you know the truth, what are you willing to do to help the environment? And overall, what are you willing to do to better the future?